I, 37 female, have one daughter, pre-tween Jenny, from my ex-boyfriend, 36 male. My ex-boyfriend was a man-child whom I stuck with for 3 years because I was convinced he would magically grow up someday as long as I helped him. I'll be honest, I definitely had terrible taste in men when I was younger. I became pregnant, and 2 months after giving birth, he walked out. He claimed he couldn't take the stress of fatherhood. He didn't want any custody and now pays child support, surprisingly without complaint. My sister, 41, has been my biggest supporter. She has a wonderful husband she's dated since high school and they have 4 kids. Something pretty common was when we were in our teens and 20s, I'd date jerks. Then I'd run to her whenever they did something stupid or hurtful. Of course, she told me to break up with them, but my stupid younger self always ran back. She got pretty frustrated but would still comfort me. Believe me, I'm not proud and have certainly matured since my daughter was born. A couple of times she would introduce me to some very nice guys. I even went on a couple of dates, but for some reason I only felt attracted to rude idiots with crappy haircuts. Please don't ask what was going through my head. I literally have no idea. I still feel embarrassed thinking about it. My sister and her husband got married pretty young, so they couldn't afford a nice honeymoon. They've been saving for years and finally booked a 2-week stay in some tropical resort. She's very happy. One of her kids is in an out-of-state college, so she wanted to avoid asking him to watch his siblings along with attending school. Plus, they aren't exactly rich and can't afford a long-term nanny or whatever. I agreed to watch the other kids. They're not toddlers or brats. They're well-behaved, so it's no big deal to me. I was happy to do it. After my daughter was born, I went on 1 or 2 dates, but nothing serious. Recently, I met this really nice guy at work. It was my sister who introduced him to me. We all work in the same huge office building, just different departments. We had some shared hobbies and started talking during our breaks. We spent at most 10 minutes together at a time. He finally asked me on a date. Strangely enough, after about 30 minutes, I couldn't stop sneezing. At first, I just thought it was allergy season. We went out several times after that and the same thing happened. Once, I accidentally took his jacket home. My daughter got sick too. I felt pretty stupid for not asking earlier, but he finally mentioned how he has 4 cats who he loves. Both me and my daughter are severely allergic to cats. Wearing fresh clothes only helped a little. Finally, after a month, I broke up with him. He offered that we could try a few different things, like prescription allergy pills or something. I apologized and said it would be better if we both went our own way. I feel awful, but the experience taught me that even though I enjoyed our time together, I wasn't so invested in this relationship that I'd go through the trouble of researching different remedies or putting my daughter in danger. I felt it best to break it off soon before we got too serious. He seemed sad but said he understood. We parted on good terms. My sister seemed a bit miffed and didn't say much. Only a couple of days ago I heard her going on and on about me. I got off work early that day, which she knew. I realised I'd forgotten something and came back. While at it, I walked around my sister's department to pick up another file and say hello. The door to the break room was open and I could hear a small group of women talking. My sis was saying how ridiculous it is that I keep rejecting good men for stupid reasons. The fact that my daughter has no father is my fault and I should be embarrassed. She made some joke about me being an attention seeker who spreads my legs for any man I know won't respect me. I haven't done anything like that in years. I was shocked and extremely hurt. I stormed out and texted her that I would no longer babysit her kids for the vacation. She got desperate and kept apologizing and begging to talk. I've just been ignoring her. My mom said that what she said was wrong, but it's not fair to ruin her second honeymoon she's been waiting for so long. Mom is very old and currently has lung cancer. She's in no state to babysit anyone's kids. Some of my friends mentioned that my sister did deal with my idiot exes for a long and frustrating amount of time. I should cut her some slack. She has helped me in the past. The honeymoon starts only the day after tomorrow, and I've heard she still can't find a good babysitter she could afford. I'm starting to feel bad because she seems so desperate and sad. Am I the idiot? Edit to clarify we do work in the same company. Your sister is saying this to people in your workplace. You are not the idiot. She wasn't letting off steam with her friends or family who might understand the background and not take it all at face value. She was bad-mouthing you at work to people you must see and interact with daily. People who don't know your private life and haven't seen you grow up. This has the serious possibility of messing with your career and income. This could open you up to workplace harassment. This reputational damage could hurt your prospects in this company. Exactly. A lot of people don't realize the gravity of the situation. This isn't just workplace gossip. This co-worker is a close family member who openly talks about intimate details and past bad decisions. This could give OP a bad reputation that could create a hostile work environment and cause bias, which may stunt their career development. Plus, the vulgar language used. Knowing people at work will be looking at OP picturing her having intimacy. Sorry, no babysitter for you. Tell mom exactly what language sister said. See how sympathetic she is to her then. It seems like the sister was only desperate to apologize to you because she needed a babysitter. Like, if she didn't have this honeymoon planned and needed someone to watch her kids, would she have apologized so quickly? Or would she have doubled down? Exactly, I'm getting the vibe they're gossip mongers and the sister is saying what she did for clout with her catty friends. If she was my sister, I'd be going no contact, at least for a long while. Horrible her sister did that. Sounds like she's used to the abusive treatment from men because her sister and parents do it to her. I hope she at least gets an apology from her. And OP won't be ruining her sister's honeymoon by not babysitting. Her sister is ruining it by being an attention seeker who opens their mouth to anyone. Update. Am I the idiot for ruining my sister's honeymoon over what she said? I haven't gone back to my old dating habits for years now. I've had a good professional therapist for 6 years, and she's really helped me work through the issues that caused me to act like that. About a year into therapy, I sat down with my sister and apologized for constantly dumping my issues onto her and then proceeding not to follow her advice. We even had a therapy session together where she said she forgave me. I thought it brought us a lot closer. I asked her about it a few times during the next few years, and she said she'd moved on and was fine. I'm not angry about her feelings. She's entitled to her emotions. I wish she'd discussed it with me or tried to explain how she felt. I love her and would have been happy to have a heart-to-heart. I'm just very hurt that she'd gossip and insult me to our co-workers, most of whom don't even know me personally that well. Plus, the way she put it made it sound like I was still doing that crap when she knows damn well that was years ago. I know I'm not perfect, but that crossed the line. I regret lashing out the way I did now that I've cooled down. However, I'm still furious with her. At the end of the day, she's still my sister, no matter how hurt I feel, and I want to work through this and at least try to stay in each other's lives. I've decided to babysit the kids. My brother-in-law and her have planned this trip for years, so they've earned it. I love my niece and nephews, and I planned a few fun activities for us that I don't want to miss. It's for them, not her. It's good that she'll be gone for the next couple of weeks soon. I'll have time to get all my thoughts in order and figure out how to express what I want to say. Oh boy, what she did is unforgivable. You work with those people. What the heck? I mean, would she really want the slut she described looking after her kids? I'm so mad that you're still babysitting. Not only would I have rescinded the offer, but I would have also reported her to HR for harassment. She's not sorry for what she said. She's sorry she got caught. Oh, wake up. She was talking crap at your mutual workplace. She is downplaying your and your daughter's actual medical condition. I have severe cat allergies and treatment isn't cheap. So instead of sacrificing your discomfort and putting him in a position where his cats, whom he loves, might be a problem, she isn't acknowledging your growth. You even sat down with her to apologize and she's still acting like this? She is the idiot. Honey, your family's expectations that you continue taking care of someone who abused you might be part of why you kept running back to all those losers. My wife, 34, and I, 32 male, have a toddler son. He's a curious and smart little boy, but he doesn't talk. I know he can speak, but he does it very sparsely. He can go days in a row without saying anything. It's very concerning to me, especially since he doesn't have hearing problems and can communicate non-verbally, e.g. he makes faces, claps, thumbs up, down, shakes his head, etc. I've spoken to my wife about this. She thinks he takes after her. My wife is a quiet, reserved woman with a low, soft voice. She's never the first to speak up and doesn't socialize with anyone unless they initiate it. Our house is very quiet as well. I make about 90% of the noise. My son started attending preschool this year, and his teacher has expressed the same concern. She suggested I take him to a speech therapist. I talked it over with my wife and we took him to our pediatrician. He said quite a few words and passed the hearing test again. The doctor doesn't think there's anything wrong, but gave us a referral for further evaluation. My wife thought it was unnecessary and refused to book an appointment. However, I did and didn't tell her. Unfortunately, I missed the confirmation call and they called my wife instead. She ended up cancelling the appointment and accused me of breaking her trust. She wants to pull our son out of preschool and has left our son at her mom's for the past few days. I feel I was acting responsibly, but she interpreted it as an attack. I think she was unintentionally neglectful too. Not the idiot. Early intervention is the best kind. Your wife needs to let go of her pride and let your son have his assessment done. If he doesn't need it, great. But if he does, you can now get it all rolling. Me and my hubby are concerned our little one has some sensory issues. Her doctor blew it off, so we booked privately. I'd rather have it done and be told everything is cool than ignore it for longer, and then getting help is more challenging. Your wife probably feels responsible for his delay since he takes after her. Tell her you're not looking for a problem, rather you're seeking confirmation that there is no problem. And read this to the child. Young kids need to hear lots of words. Since your wife doesn't talk much and he's not talking back, I can see how it might feel weird to talk at him but do it anyway. He needs to soak it up. My child didn't talk much at 3 either, and she was sent to a speech therapist. I'm very quiet too, and she seemed fine to me, but I followed the advice of her doctor and teacher. I diligently took her to all her appointments and did her homework with her. Eventually, she started talking more. She's now a fully functional, employed, married adult, who was just diagnosed as neurodivergent, and so am I. But with a speech therapist, my daughter at least can learn new coping skills and get help. I feel guilty about not getting her proper help earlier, but she was just like me, so I thought she was fine. Congratulations on doing what is right for your child. Early diagnosis and treatment are very important for social development and mental health. It's finally become just about cool enough to have a barbecue where I live, so yesterday evening my husband and I called most of our friend group to come to our place and join us. That's about 20 adults plus 6 toddlers and babies. My cousin, her husband and their toddler are out here visiting because he wants to move out of the UK, and he's trying to convince her to move too because they'd have a better quality of life. Full disclosure, our husbands are much closer than we are, although I would say that cousin and I are always at least friendly, if not friends, so we invited them to join. Now yes, in my city, people do take any excuse to get dressed up, especially young expat professionals, which is basically what our whole group consists of. If we go out, my friends and I also get dressed up, but it's a much more casual affair if we just go to each other's homes. They're also lovely at chipping in, so everyone is ready to help wash dishes, plate food, remove rubbish, move furniture back before they leave, etc. So everyone else came in jeans, shorts, summery casual outfits. Cousin turned up in what I can only describe as a full sequined mini dress, her daughter in a tutu, and her husband in chinos and a shirt. They looked out of place, but nobody commented on it. I offered her a hoodie and bottoms when it got chilly, but she said no. This morning, my cousin sent me a long, rambly voice note about how I tried to humiliate her by not saying the dress code and how she'd had to keep pulling her skirt down. I did this to alienate her from my friends so she couldn't make any potential connections. She's calling me a manipulative idiot, but my thinking is, it was a barbecue, in a garden. Who wears a mini dress to that? Edit, in her voice note she said, "You should have told me nobody was going to bother dressing up. Everybody knows that city is full of bling. How was I supposed to know this barbecue was stupid loungewear?" You are not the idiot. If she had to keep pulling her dress down, logic would tell her it was too short. I love how people always blame someone else for not informing them of important information, but never seem to remember that they never asked. LOL. You didn't have to tell anyone else how to dress, as it seems common in your area that barbecue equals casual and comfortable dress. If dress code was such an important issue to her, she could have just asked instead of making assumptions and then just acting on those assumptions. She humiliated herself. LOL. I also think she's making a mountain out of a molehill. I don't think she's alienated and unable to make connections because she showed up overdressed on one occasion. If I saw someone in a mini dress at a barbecue, I would assume they just wanted to dress up, had another event right before or after, or didn't know the dress code for a barbecue. None of those make me think badly of them. Yeah, I've never decided to dislike someone because they showed up overdressed at one event. She's overthinking this majorly, and it's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. However, I have to say, a tutu is always acceptable, especially for a kid. Tutus are like the jeans and a nice shirt of the kid world. They're just so versatile. I, 47 male, have one child, a daughter, Neela, 19. My wife and I did well for ourselves, so we've been financially supporting her and caring for her child, a female preschooler, since she's been in the university. While she's away at college, we help pay for her tuition and car insurance, and give her a decent amount of money every month to focus on her studies stress-free while she's away. Along with that, we care and provide for her daughter. Neela goes to school a few hours away, and our nephew was visiting this area and saw her at a local club as a pole girl. She asked him not to tell us, but he did so anyway. I confronted her and she tried to deny it, but admitted she's been doing this for the past few months. I asked her why, and basically short answer is she's not responsible with the money we're giving her and shopping is more important. I then threatened to cut her off financially because 1. I disapprove of my only daughter doing this kind of work, and 2. She's making money of her own and isn't being responsible with ours. 3. Hiding it from us and not sending any back to help Kimberly. She began to cry and begged me not to. She said it wasn't fair that she was an adult and could do as she pleased but still needed help. My wife thinks I'm being too harsh and that we should give her a smaller amount of money each month. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot, and you should really take a step back and look at the whole picture that the last 19 years of parenting have created for your daughter. She got pregnant as a young teen. You take over all financial and active care of the child and then just free your daughter from any and all responsibility and then send her off to school and throw more money at the situation. Now you're shocked she's an exotic dancer? Barring some crazy stuff that happened to her that you've not filled in for context, you and your wife do not sound like productive parents. I disagree. OP's daughter is an adult, and it's been a privilege for her to receive the help she had. I wish I had that support. It's your money, and she's an adult. You're not the idiot. She doesn't get to waste someone else's money on shopping and then whine when that money is gone, especially since she's an adult who can do what she wants, as she claims. She can't have it both ways. She's an adult, but she's still a teenager, and I'm sure she doesn't know how to manage her finances yet. Opie, would you be okay with her doing some waitressing, whatever, for extra shopping money? Is she making enough to cover what you currently give her? Would you cut her off and expect her to cover all those bills if she had a part-time job you approved of? Also, has the kid's father been paying child support all along? If you and your wife are tired of providing everything for your granddaughter, why not start by going after the deadbeat dad? All good questions. I can't help wondering whether Opie is not as disgusted with his nephew for visiting such clubs, or if that's just a normal thing guys do. Opie, you are the idiot because she has a job and you're having a tantrum about it. If she's doing fine at school, you should be proud she's managing a job and school.